Hello again, this is Mr. DeBetz, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to adjust the layer properties within your timeline. So currently within my timeline I only have one layer, which is this picture of this kangaroo. I'm going to go ahead and add a circle. So again, I'm going to hold my rectangle tool, go to ellipse, and then I'm going to hold shift. Holding shift will actually make it a perfect shape. Click and then drag. So I'm going to get this nice perfect circle here. Get my selection tool, I'm just going to move it over the face of the kangaroo. So now you're going to notice that within my timeline I have two different layers. I have a shape layer, which I'm going to right click and rename circle. And I have this picture of the kangaroo. So within each of these layers you actually have different properties. So I'm actually going to first start with the picture. So if I click on this side arrow here, it's going to open up something called transform, and you're going to click on it one more time, and then it's going to give you all these different options. So again, the first thing that it shows you is an anchor point. So if I go to my anchor point tool here, right now it's on the eye. So if I were to move this, you can also see that those numbers are starting to change. So again, you can either do this by selecting the tool, or you can adjust your anchor point and your position manually by typing in numbers. So if I wanted to do like 900 by 400, it would just sort of change the position by entering that. All right, the next one is your scale. So again, scale is just sort of the size of the image. So again, I can zoom in or I can zoom out, and again, it's going to focus on wherever that anchor point is. So if I move this to the eyeball and I adjust the scale, it's going to focus on the eye there. What's cool though is here it's currently locked, and if you unlock it, you can now adjust each property separately. So here I can adjust like the horizontal shape, and if I wanted to invert it, I could flip it. Or if I wanted, I could adjust sort of the vertical shape of this image as well. After that, again, is your rotation. So again, you can either use the tool that I showed you, or you can use this and enter in numbers to rotate it automatically that way. The last thing that we haven't looked at is your opacity. Think of this as the transparency of the image or video. So right now it's at 100, but if I were to drag this to lower to 0, the darker it becomes. And then again, if I activate my shape layer, you're going to see sort of the circle appear there. For now, I'm going to keep that at 100. And now, again, right now, if you go into this property, it has all 5 of them. But if you're looking for each individual one, there's actually a hotkey. So in order to do this, you just click on the clip or the layer within your timeline. You hit A for anchor point. You hit P for position. You hit S for scale. You hit R for rotation. And you actually hit T, think like transparency, for opacity. And in order to close that, you just hit T again. All right, I'm going to bring back this circle. So as I mentioned, every layer has a transform property, but shape layers actually have something called contents, and that's something that I want to go through with you really quickly. So contents are basically the different shapes within this one shape. So for example, if I have the circle selected, I can go to the top here. I can actually draw another circle. Now, instead of creating a third layer, it actually creates this within the contents. So now I have ellipse 1, which is the big circle. I have ellipse 2, which is my smaller circle. And then again, I can open up the submenu, and I can adjust the different layers or contents of this circle. So I can put dark in here. So just, again, just a little feature there as well. And then again, if I were to add a third layer, you would see that it's within the contents here, a third ellipse. And then really quick to show you the difference, if I were to click out of this and then add another circle, it's actually creating another layer here, which is what I don't want to happen. All right, so now I'm going to bring back this kangaroo. I'm going to make this disappear. The last thing I'm going to show you is the properties you have for masking. So again, in order to create a mask of this kangaroo, I'm going to select my pen tool. I'm just going to try and go around its face as best as I can here. So again, I'm going around the face of the kangaroo, and then it's going to create a mask. Once this happens, again, you can open up the submenu, and you're going to see that it has this option for mask. So mask 1, I'm going to click on it. So now you can actually adjust everything within this frame. So opacity, right now it's at 100. I'm going to change it to 50. So now again, you're going to sort of see that I can adjust just that specific part of the image, which is pretty cool. I can also adjust the mask path. This would just sort of change what I'm focusing on. So again, if I were to extend that, you would see that it would trim the image. Feather is cool. Here you can actually add like a sort of glow effect. It just sort of brings in a little more of the image, so it isn't just such a harsh outline, and gives you some more options that way. So again, that's a lot for now. There's a lot more features that the timeline has. But again, I just sort of wanted to start you off to show you what you can do with your masks, your transform, and basically adding different shapes within the contents of one shape.